News Channel 5 on your side presents Kaleidoscope, focusing on people who make a difference in Northeast Ohio communities.
Hello, everyone. Good to have you with us today. I'm Leon Bibb. The Vice President and Executive Director of the Cleveland Browns Foundation, Renee Harvey, joins me this afternoon to talk about the impact the foundation of the Cleveland Browns has had on Northeast Ohio community over the past 2 years or so. Later on, we'll hear from U.S. Army Lieutenant Colonel Jason Kerr. And later on the broadcast after that, children's author Yelia Fields will talk about her Princess Cupcake Jones book series. Good afternoon again. I'm Leon Bibb. This is Kaleidoscope. And so we begin with Renee Harvey, Vice President, Executive Director of the Cleveland Browns Foundation.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Renee.
Good to see you.
Always good to have you here. Refresh our minds as to what the Cleveland Browns Foundation does.
Sure. So the foundation has been in existence since '99. When Dee and Jimmy came on board as our owners a couple years ago.
The Haslams.
The Haslams. They had redirected our foundation, really defined what we wanted to do in terms of education and youth development in Northeast Ohio. They jumped in head first, rather, and we've been really busy ever since and making some great impact.
Yeah. So education and youth development are at the top of the list for a lot of the things that you're interested in at the Cleveland Browns Foundation.
They absolutely are. So education, I would say, is our primary focus. We have a whole host of things that we're doing in that area. And again, under that redirection, we've been investing about $1.8 million so far. So really trying to move the needle and help the school district and a lot of other fantastic organizations in town.
I know you brought some video with you, and we're
Yes.
going to roll that video. The control room has got their finger right on the button to roll it, and there it is. What are we looking at right here now?
So this is one of the programs that we've done for quite a few years with College Now Greater Cleveland. We offer or reward 2 scholarships every year through College Now Greater Cleveland to 2 deserving young students who are typically first-generation college attendees who really don't have the means to be able to attend college. And so this really provides them a lift and a great opportunity, and we're surprising them. We usually do this in person. They thought they were coming in for a second-round interview, and we actually surprised them on site to let them know that they were the recipients. Some outstanding applicants this year. Our pool increased by 36%, so the demand is certainly there. And it's great to be able to offer these 2 individuals an opportunity to continue their education.
And we see they had checks there, $10,000 checks. That'll go a long way.
It'll be a good start.
That's always a good start. You've got this partnership now with the Cleveland Metropolitan School District.
We do.
Well, tell me about that.
So we actually met with Eric Gordon about 1.5 years ago, talked about ways in which we can help, and if we were going to come in a big way, what would that be and what would he see us doing? And we landed on their attendance campaign, which is called Get to School, You Can Make It. And it's really about, you know, there are 2 problem issues, I would say, K-2, which is parents not sending their children to school, and then grades 8 to 10, which is the student selection not to attend school. So trying to layer in, it's a multi-pronged approach where we're incentivizing and trying to reward students for perfect and on track and improving attendance. Really cannot have kids in Cleveland specifically miss more than 10 days a year, which doesn't sound like a lot. So we need kids in school in order to teach them and make a difference. But we're able to get our players involved, recording messages. We attended Patrick Henry. We went to a school assembly and surprised the student body there for a job well done, and obviously to continue to drive that message that they need to be in school on time every day.
Thank goodness the Cleveland Browns Foundation is there, you know, telling this story and pushing the kids to at least show up.
Well, we hope so, and you know, we certainly lean on the school district. Eric Gordon and his team do a fantastic job. They're the experts, but we, you know, this is how we can leverage our brand and hopefully move the needle and help the efforts.
Let me take you back to that scholarship we were just looking at video a little bit ago. What about students applying for scholarship now? What's the process, and is there a deadline?
There is. So we just awarded this year's recipients. So the next application process will open in the summer, and it's open to any school within Northeast Ohio. We had almost 300 applicants this year. So that process closes in October, and then we go through the selection process and award those in December.
What do you have to keep in mind as the Vice President and Executive Director of the Cleveland Browns Foundation? What is foremost in your mind as you go about your mission?
What is going to make a change? What is really going to have an impact? We believe that every child deserves a high-quality education, and we're focused on the solutions, and there's a whole body of work being done, so many strong nonprofits in town. It's a tough decision to determine what to fund and what not to fund, and so we really going to layer in and try to balance where we can make an impact, but really where we can leverage our brand and do something unique that we feel we should be doing.
This is something the National Football League has been pushing all along. It's not just the Cleveland Browns, but if we were in Dallas, the Cowboys, and everybody else,
do a whole host of things.
NFL is pushing this thing about education.
They are, and you know, I think education, that's a foundation for anything that we do in life, and if we can give kids that solid foundation, so many doors and different paths and opportunities become available. So you do see a lot of teams across the country get involved. It looks very different in every NFL market, but we're very involved with Eric Gordon and his team to do what's right and what makes sense for us here in Cleveland.
You must have a sense of pride knowing that you are making a difference in the lives of these young people, especially those who receive those scholarships. I mean, you're making a difference.
We hope so. If we're not, then we're doing the wrong things. But we really feel we take the job seriously, that this is not only a football team, but we can utilize this platform to make a difference and to really help a lot of organizations that are doing the right work kind of move the needle and make sure that they're heard and to be able to come in and do what they do best. So we feel very fortunate, and that is obviously led by Dee Haslam, who's the president of our foundation.
I want to put a website on the screen here, clevelandbrowns.com/foundation. You can get more information on everything that we are talking about. What is so impressive is that the Cleveland Browns are not only knocking them down and tackling and throwing and passing and doing all those things, but this educational component is vital to the entire Cleveland Browns Foundation.
It is. It's, you know, Dee and Jimmy, really, they're very philanthropic. They're very philanthropic back in Tennessee, and they have been for many years. But they love Northeast Ohio, and they feel a sense of pride and a sense of responsibility, of course, to do what they can to help. So their leadership and their vision is extraordinary.
They certainly did a good job in Tennessee. You go down to the University of Tennessee and you see the Haslam name all over the place.
You do.
They have donated big money down there, and they are loved by the University of Tennessee.
Yes, and I can tell you.
I found that out firsthand when I went there.
I'm sure you did.
Doing interviews about them.
Yes,
okay.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Good to have you with us. Renee Harvey,
Thank
Vice
you.
President and Executive Director of the Cleveland Browns Foundation. Good to have you on the broadcast.
Thank you. Good to see you.
And tell all the members of the Cleveland Browns, go Browns.
Appreciate it.
We are pushing this team and helping this team as much as we can.
Great. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Renee. I'm going to take a break. We'll be back in just a moment. We're going to talk about opportunities in today's Army after this. Welcome back to more of Kaleidoscope today. U.S. Army Commander, the Lieutenant Colonel Jason Kerr, is with me today. He's going to talk about today's Army and the opportunities available to women and opportunities available to men as well. Good to have you with us, Lieutenant Colonel Kerr, U.S. Army. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me here today.
It's good to have you. Good to have you here, and let me thank you for your service. Your 19 years of service in the United States Army.
Well, thank you for your support.
Oh, certainly my pleasure. There's a new Army. There's a new Army, a brand new Army out there. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, you know, in essence, it is a new Army, and this isn't your father's Army. This isn't your grandfather's Army. The face of it is changing. And so today's Army is the most agile, adaptable, and capable force in the world. We're globally responsive, we're regionally engaged, you know, and whether we're defending our nation or securing our future, we're operating in a complex world with one simple mission, and that's to win.
And you are seeing recruits come in. Men and women are coming into the U.S. military, the U.S. Army specifically.
We are, absolutely, you know, and we're responsible for recruiting the best available candidates for service in the United States Army. And our footprint covers not only here Cleveland, but a majority of northern Ohio. And, you know, this year we have seen so many great people, great young adults coming to us wanting to enlist and serve their country.
Let's talk a little bit about women, because the role of women has expanded in today's Army.
Oh, yes, it has, and we are absolutely excited. I mean, this is an historic change for our Army. And as you know, on the 3rd of December, the Secretary of Defense directed the full integration of women in the armed services. And this didn't come as any surprise to us in the Army, because it's been something we've been doing for quite some time. And since 2012, you know, the Army has already implemented changes and incorporated women into roles such as artillery and combat engineers. And so today, if you don't know, serving in the active component, we have about 70,000 women that are currently serving on active duty, which makes up about 15% of our force. And when we take a look at the eligible population for serving, it consists of about 50% of them are female. So from an Army standpoint, we would certainly like to see more women joining the Army today.
And we are seeing the Secretary of Defense opened up all combat roles to women. This is historic, Colonel.
It is. It's absolutely historic, and we're very excited about it. And so he directed the services to take a look at this and put together an implementation plan. So from a recruiting perspective, we expect to see this implementation rolled out to us shortly, and we'll be ready when the time comes to execute it.
What about our numbers in the U.S. Army? Is there some downsizing going on and upsizing on the technology side, or how is that working?
Well, absolutely there is. And so it's something that has been discussed in the news for the past several years, and we are currently downsizing our force. And so by the end of 2018, depending on how sequestration goes and the budget goes with Congress and the President, we will see one of the smallest forces we have since before 2001.
Mm-hmm. And I see that you've been in for 19 years. So it must be good for you. I'm looking at the badges that you're wearing, your paratrooper and all of that, and a Bronze Star medal up at the top there, and all kinds of things. It has been good for you. What do you tell young men, young women out there who may be contemplating coming into the military? Well,
I say this, it absolutely has been great for both me and my family. We've been doing this for 19 years, and it has changed my life forever. It has provided opportunities that I never would have imagined, and I've just been able to experience so many different things around the world that I never would have had the opportunity to do without serving in the United States Army.
What can an enlistee expect? Somebody who goes over to the recruitment office and says, well, I'd like to be in communications, or I would like to be in artillery, which I was in,
right?
Or I would like to be in something else. What do you tell them when they come in?
Well, the first thing that our Army recruiters do is they want to schedule an appointment with them and sit down and start telling them about what the Army actually is. And because what we've discovered and what we found is that there's so many misperceptions out there of who we are and what we do. So the first thing that we want to do is an education piece. We are so excited about today's Army, the new Army that's changing, and we want to share that with as many people as possible so that they can understand who we are and what we're all about. And that's where the process begins.
I will tell you, I was drafted into the Army a long, long time ago during the war in Vietnam. Actually drafted into the Army, and I was a little bit upset about being drafted, but I'm going to tell you, once I got in, I says, this is one of the best things that's ever happened to me. As I look back on my life, it was a turning point in my life, and I wouldn't trade anything for those years that I spent in the U.S. Army, even in a war situation.
Yeah.
Is that what your enlistees are finding too? Are they telling you
know
that?
What, they absolutely are, and they have a lot of pride. And so one of the things when our enlistees, and they don the camouflage uniform, they become Army professionals, and they take a lot of pride in what they do. And you see it because, right on their right shoulder sleeve, they bear the flag of our nation. And it's a team, it's a family. And the name of our team goes right here over our heart and says U.S. Army on it. And so it fundamentally changes them and who they are. And so when you look out there of soldiers who are currently serving, who have served in the past, they come back into the communities and they start making a difference in our communities.
Military is our line of defense.
Yes, sir, it is.
And freedom is not free. Somebody's got to make sure that we fight to keep that freedom too, especially in today's world. GoArmy.com. You can find more information on everything we're talking about. We've been addressed today by Lieutenant Colonel Jason Kerr of the U.S. Army. Good to have you with us, Colonel.
Go Army.
Go Army indeed. Go Army indeed. And thank you for your support of being here on Kaleidoscope, and thank you for your support of the United States military and the United States government and our way of freedom. We appreciate what you do, too. All right. I'm going to take a break. I'll be right back in just a moment. We're going to talk about a children's book. But first, these words especially for you. Welcome back to Kaleidoscope. Good to have you with me today. Elia Fields is a local author of children's books. She joins me now to talk about her Princess Cupcake Jones book series. Good to have you with us, Elia Fields.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure to have you here. You've written a book about Princess Cupcake Jones.
Yes.
Now, a children's book. Who really is Princess Cupcake Jones?
Princess Cupcake Jones is a 5-year-old princess that's based on 2 of my daughters. I'm actually a mom of 4, about to be 6 because I'm pregnant with twins.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
So as far as I know, like right now, our house is dominated by girls. And my eldest daughter, when she was 2 years old, she was a voracious reader. She still is. And we would go and find picture books, but there was never a character that looked like her, that she could actually see herself in. So I decided to create it. And Cupcake Jones is based on the 2 oldest daughters, and her stories are based on things that they've actually done.
So you're making sure that there's some diversity in children's books, and with this little girl here.
Yes.
I guess she could be a black girl. She could be,
She could be anything. Any ethnic girl. She is an African American girl. My children are African American, so she definitely is that. But if you read the stories, what you'll find out is it's not necessarily quote-unquote a black girl story. It's just a little girl story who happens to be a person of color. And it helps, I think, just with the need for diversity in children's books and just the need for acceptance among children of all races.
What do you want the kids to understand as they read these books about Princess Cupcake Jones?
Well, the stories are just, they each have morals and values in them, so I think it's more a collaboration for the parents and the children. So when you're reading to your kids, which is very important, you'll also be teaching them something. So the first book teaches about cleaning up. That book that you're looking at is about not letting fear stop you from doing something that you want to do. And then the third book, the blue one, it's about family traditions and family values.
The page I stopped on here, Cupcake Jones, Princess Cupcake Jones, looks like she's got a fever or something, but she's faking it. But there's a doctor's appointment. Importance of going to the doctor, is that what we're telling him?
Well, actually, it's more, if you don't stop faking, you could end up at the doctor. And I don't think that, you know, in her case, that's not where she wanted to be. She just didn't want to go to school.
She didn't want to go to school.
No, so she thought she was being clever.
We've all played that role. I'm
Absolutely.
sick.
My kids still do.
We've all been there. Now, where can we get the Princess Cupcake Jones books? Well, where are they available?
They're available at Barnes & Noble. They're also available at Amazon, but they're available at my website, which is the important one, www.princesscupcakejones.com. That's the name of the website. And they have books there, but there's also merchandise, dolls, clothing, apparel, and other things that you can get to go along with the character.
Princess Cupcake Jones could become a very big thing. I mean, it's a big thing right now in your life. I mean, this,
it is.
You never know. I mean, Walt Disney began with a little mouse.
Absolutely.
And we saw what happened with Walt Disney. What are your future plans for the Princess Cupcake Jones?
Well, I have another book that I'm putting out. The new one is called Princess Cupcake Jones and the Dance Recital. I actually just had someone ask me when was that coming, and it should be out in March of 2016.
Yeah.
And really the sky's the limit. We have more merchandise. We want to do a girls' camp. As I said, girls kind of rule my house, so everything right now is dominated by what they would like to do. Yeah. So we'd like an etiquette camp. We have you know, if anyone wants to put together a Princess Cupcake Jones TV show, call me.
Well, maybe you and I can talk about that. Wouldn't that be nice? There's an interactive tool in each book now.
Yes.
Tell me about those tools.
Yes, my eldest daughter, her middle name is Love. My second eldest, her nickname is Cupcake. Their last name is Jones, so the name Cupcake Jones, that's how that came about.
Yeah.
We didn't want the oldest one to feel left out. Her middle name is Love, so we put the word love on every page. We hid it. So even if you cannot necessarily, if your child cannot necessarily read, they can still find the love. It's pretty easy to find as far as they recognize the L-O-V-E. And you can go through the book and they can point it out to you.
It's
so
on
it's
every
something
page.
that they can do.
You can find it. I see it on the pages. I see it. I certainly do. I certainly do. And I understand People Magazine just featured your books as a celebrity favorite.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Christina Milian is the celebrity that picked our book as one of her celeb favorites, and she's been very supportive of our brand from the beginning, and so she picked us because her daughter is a huge fan, and I love stuff like that. We have a lot of celebrities that do like us. We have JWoww, we have Shanola Hampton, just to name a few, and it's growing.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the important thing, and the fact that we're getting recognition for it is amazing to me.
Well, we wish you well. We've had pictures of Cupcake Jones, Princess Cupcake Jones, on the screen right there, and you can find them at Barnes & Noble.
Barnes & Noble's, Amazon, Books A Million, of course, the website, PrincessCupcakeJones.
And wherever quality books are sold.
Absolutely.
And this is a quality book.
Thank you so much.
Oh, Ilya Fields, thank you so much for being on the broadcast. We appreciate
you for having me.
And Princess Cupcake Jones. We wish you both well.
Thank you.
I'm certain you're going to do quite well with Princess Cupcake Jones. I've got a feeling.
Oh, good.
I've got a feeling. Okay. I'll take a break. We'll be right back in just a moment. Daryl Johnson of the Minority Business Assistance Center of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland will offer some comments, but first these words. Time now for the Morning Exchange segment of Kaleidoscope. That means the Urban League of Greater Cleveland joins us, and today Daryl Johnson, Minority Business Assistant Center of the Urban League, is here. Hey,
Good
Daryl.
morning. Good morning.
How you doing?
Man. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm doing fine. You too?
I'm doing well, thank you.
What are you thinking about today?
Well, we just wanted to get the word out that the Minority Business Assistance Center is open to help local businesses become state certified.
Yeah.
Get some financing and probably help them procure with the state. For 2015, we broke the 35-year record, or the historical levels of breaking that 15% MBE level for the first time ever. So,
and what you're doing, you try to get businesses in line to be awarded state contracts.
Correct.
That kind of thing.
We come in, we help them get states certified with the state to get state contracts for procurement. We help them with business development. We help them try to secure financing if they need it.
So somebody's in business, you just don't say, hey, I want to call Columbus and see if I can get a contract. There's some things they've got to learn. They've got procedures they've got to go through.
Correct.
And is that what the Urban League helps them with, those procedures and things they learn?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we have training courses and classes that help them through the certification process. We help them through that process, and then once they become certified through the state with all the documentation that they need, what we do is we help them learn and understand and kind of navigate that procurement site and possibly get contracts either through the state, and we have other agencies here in the city that look for minority certified MBEs or companies that are certified through the state that they have opportunities for as well. So we have other relationships outside of the state of Ohio.
You've got to feel like a proud papa or a proud guide if you're able to take a business here in the greater Cleveland area and get them hooked up to the state government.
Yeah, it's a good feeling because, you know, there are opportunities, and then to take a company and see their business grow and get opportunities to procure with the state is a great feeling, and it helps them, you know, directly helps locally here in the economy as well.
That's a good thing. Well, thank you, Daryl, for being on the broadcast.
Thank you.
We're running out of time. Got to say so long, everybody. Be well.
This has been a presentation of News Channel 5's Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland.